Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the GRTD, I would like to welcome you on this building called the CDMA, which is not that bad, and in a very animated place of town. So that's good. I would also like to welcome the very warm response that was received when the idea of launching this meeting was issued, and the endeavors and the will behind an energy modeling platform in Europe. We are, of course, working with our other colleagues in the Commission in the context of the Energy Union. And our purpose is to provide secure, affordable and clean energy for EU citizens and businesses, for everyone. Last November, so end of last year, the Commission published what we call the Winter Package, which is a series of proposals to modernize or to update the regulatory framework for energy. And this will be the driver for the transition to a low-carbon society. These proposals have been accompanied by very substantial and detailed analysis of the likely impacts that they will have on our life, of all of us. In fact, this is an attempt of our, I would say, party line or of our political direction, which is to provide legislation that is based on scientific evidence. We have all the means. We have our research program that is now split over a number of DGs, in particular for energy. We have DG and air, we have ourselves, we have Klima, we have environment, we have MOVE. And we are all on this endeavor of using the results of our projects as scientific evidence for our policy. And by the way, the work behind the Winter Package was largely based on modeling approaches. In fact, the current modeling approaches provide us a very good view of the pathways to the future, but research is still needed. There are details. I mean, details is probably a too soft word. There are details that are missing and that we have to find out. Concrete examples: we cannot fully represent consequences of variable decentralized production or of the behavior of smart customers and energy communities in order to understand what will determine how the individuals and companies will decide on investment towards diminishing, of course, their carbon footprint. We also, on global terms, not only for energy, we also need to a better understanding of the take-up of innovation in the market. This has been, I would say, a worry and a concern of the Commission since the beginning of the framework programs, and it still is. I mean, Horizon 2020 was a first step in one direction when we have merged the two programs that we had before, FP7 and the SIP, for innovation. But this understanding of how innovation is taken up in the market is something that we need to make further progress. Another important aspect is, of course, the citizen. The citizen is at the center of the worries of the Commission today, and we need to provide the citizen with information that allows them to plan and to know the future impacts of the various options that he has in front of him in this energy transition path. This being said, it's again another dimension that underlines all the work of the Commission is transparency. We want to be transparent towards the citizen, and we are here to serve the citizen, since we are spending their money, by the way. We are persuaded and we think that research is needed, that research and innovation are in fact the basis for the energy union, And this resulted since the beginning of Horizon 2020 in a number of work programs in which we have called for different things. And we have, at a particular moment in time, launched the call, out of which 4 research and innovation projects have been selected, and this is what you will be listening today and tomorrow, I think. We very much welcome this coordination initiative amongst these projects and its first result, which is today's forum. It is also very promising that you and us together can also create or bring a set of actors that are very large at the European level. In particular, as far as we are concerned, as I mentioned in the beginning, we have our colleagues of the GNR, the Joint Research Center, which, by the way, is supposed to be the creator of scientific evidence for policy making in the Commission, DG Climate, and a number of the projects that all these entities support, since the Horizon 2020 is a shared endeavor of a number of DGs. In fact, beyond science and the modeling technologies, it is also very important to share the way that modeling is being used to build scenarios, to build paths, to support the development of policy at all levels, at the European level, at the member states level, at regional level, at the cities level, at all levels of decision making in policy. This will, of course, be of paramount importance when our target is to coordinate the plans that the different member states have with regard to policy and with regard to energy policy in the 2030 horizon. The platform that you are starting today is a very important development for us. We are very interested in trying to create all the conditions in order that it can flourish and that it can provide results. And the main results are for you, are a platform for exchange of practices, of results among researchers in the field. Again, thank you very much for being here, and I wish you all a very pleasant and useful forum.
Thank you very much, Jose Cotta, for that inspiring speech to start the meeting. And I forgot one thing. At the side of Jose Cotta, there's Patrick van Hove sitting, and he's the most important partner here in the house who did all this organization of the rooms and things, and who is the research partner for a lot of projects. Maybe you're also in here at the EC. I think we can give him a clap because he was really running around. Okay, I promised to come with some organizational things. There are still some speeches missing. Kadi, who was standing over there and who's running around making photos, she's collecting the speeches on the laptop over there. So whoever wants to, whoever has slides which are still missing, please go to her. Then there's, you see in the back, there's Oliver Olafsson sitting, and he's filming the speeches. So if you allow us to put the speeches on the website afterwards, then you get a filming consent. Also, Kadi is having them, and you sign it, and then we can upload your speech. And same for the slides. If you want us to put them, we would really like to put them on the website for everybody who's not here can see the slides and can see the speeches. So just tell her that it's allowed. So we have to ask everybody who allows it, we can upload that. Consent slides. Yes, and photos. And if somebody of you don't want to be on a photo, Kadi's running around making photos, just tell her she's taken care of that you will not be on that. You will remember that, Kadi. Okay. Okay, then there's some organizational things which I will hide in the others. Yes, I think that's enough for that. And I didn't present myself now. You got a lot of mails from me. I'm Berit Müller, and I'm head of a modeling team in a research institute in Berlin, which is called Rainer Lehmann Institute. And my team is a team for transformation of the energy system. And we are part of a project funded by the Horizon 2020 program. And about 1 year ago, I think there were a meeting of the Commission and the Horizon 2020 project, and there were a discussion about that's really the models. There are emerging groups of modeling groups who are doing different models, who are looking for different pathways, who have different ways of doing it. And though we are deep inside the material, we will not know every model, or we will not know the people who are working for European pathways. And that's why we try to find out what is on the way in Europe. And that's where we started and said, okay, we should do this meeting. And as we are funded by the EC, so we took over to organize the first one and to ask the people we know, who know a lot of people who would be important to invite here. But I'm sure we didn't invite all the people who are modeling Europe or who have interest in models. That's why we make, for the first thing, we have a feedback board there in the entrance where you can put what is missing, which person is missing, and what is missing methodological, and what did I like here or what not. So there's a feedback board where you should explicitly also mention people who are missing, whom you think, why didn't they ask them to come? And then there's a second board, because you saw the program, and this meeting is really stuck with speeches, with a lot of speeches, with a lot of input. And what we normally want is to discuss together. I think it should make the meeting really successful. But in fact, what I would like to do is perhaps go a little bit in a different dimension. We will talk in these days very much about energy system modeling, but I would like to give some background to the word platform. And basically, if you look at it, we are DG Research and Innovation. What we try to do is to promote and nurture excellent science. And today, our world is increasingly open, digital, global, and that means that research has changed. And so we have more and more open innovation, open science, and open to the world. This is the three opens that are close to the heart of our Commissioner, Carlos Moedas. And I think I very much appreciate the fact that here you are showing how this can be made to work. In fact, open innovation is about developing things together among researchers, but also with other parties like innovators, entrepreneurs, users, citizens, politicians, the society at large. And I think many of you are working already in this dimension. So I think it's quite important that we give a place for you to develop this. We want, of course, science and scientific evidence to be excellent, but we also want it to be transparent. It's clear that when citizens or let's say pressure groups can have access to the way that we provide the evidence to political choices or options, this is much more palatable, and you are able to, let's say, get the trust and engagement of people at large. So I think this is definitely something that we want to promote, and our Commissioner launched about a year ago an initiative called European Open Science Cloud, and this would be, in fact, a realization of that in the new context, a new digital context, if you want. And one part of that is open data. So
I think today and tomorrow you will also discuss about this question of open models, open data, and I very much encourage you to progress in that way. Now, perhaps very practical things. You will have seen that at the end of Framework 7, we had already started with a pilot on open access publication. And I think it looks legitimate that when public funds invest in research, that the results would be publicly available. And now in Horizon 2020, this is the norm. We want all the projects to, as much as possible, have open access publications. And the next step is open data, to have the data that's behind the publications, or even wider amounts of data, to be available as well. Again, in Horizon 2020, at the first years, we had the pilot on that, but now it will become the norm. All the projects that will be launched from this year will have open data, clause on open data as part of their grant agreements. There are, of course, how do I say this, opt-out clauses, because we understand that there are cases where this is not the best way to do. But of course, what we would like to do is to try to promote this. And in fact, not only we don't do this only through clauses in the contracts, we also do that in practice. I think in the research infrastructure, we have supported, let's say, infrastructure that supports this sharing. So we have the Open Air project that supports the open access publications. We have EU DAT for data. We have PRAISE for access to supercomputing infrastructure. And now we have launched early this year a pilot of the European Open Science Cloud. So these are all initiatives that we are taking to try to promote a closer cooperation of researchers and those that use the research results. In energy, I would say there are some communities that have followed this already a long time ago. The high energy particle physics is an example, or astronomers. And you could say, of course, every field is different. In energy, maybe it's one area, it's fusion. Eurofusion has had a long tradition of sharing data among its members. But we would like to see also how to make this happen more in the energy domain. So we launched a study early this year to try to look at the opportunities and barriers for sharing the data. And one of the topics they will work on is modeling. So if they knock at your door, please open it and discuss with them what you see are the opportunities for having a widening of data. So I think what we really would like to see is that these clauses in our contract are not just for paying lip service to this idea, but actually that researchers are taking this to their heart. They're actually exploiting the benefit of that. So basically, in these 2 days, what we have organized, as let's say the logistics of this meeting, we have tried to make breaks where you can mingle and around drinks, food, and that gives you many opportunities to discuss. And we hope that you take up these opportunities, and of course the great organization of this meeting to promote this sharing among yourselves, and that together we also see how to progress from this initial meeting to a long-standing way of cooperating in Europe in energy modeling and its use. Okay, thank you.